SwimOutlet.com delivers the best online shopping experience. With an extensive selection and the lowest prices, you're guaranteed to find the product you need. Here's what you get. Free shipping on all orders over $49. Free 1 to 2 day shipping on all orders over $99. All orders placed by 6 p.m. ship out the same day. Shop at SwimOutlet.com, the web's most popular swim shop.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Monday, September 17th, 2012. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. Every year I've been to the ASCA Clinic, I have had the pleasure of catching up with one of my former coaches, Paul Murphy. And this year he told me about the team he's coaching in Iowa and how his experience there is very similar to what he had to endure while he was my coach for 4 years at North County Swim Club in St. Louis. His story will probably sound familiar to a lot of age group coaches. I'm Jeff Cummings here at the American Swim Coaches Association Clinic in Las Vegas, Nevada, and sitting next to me is Paul Murphy, who is my age group coach from age 13 to 17 at North County Swim Club. Paul, I think the way you had to deal with swimmers at North County Swim Club as head coach is kind of a story that I think it would be great to share with a lot of coaches out there. Tell us how it started. You know, it's a very small team with very little pool space.
Exactly. When the team started back in the early 80s, we actually were a summer league team. We had about 10 to 12 swimmers on the team, and we had a lot of enthusiasm for building that team up. From that, we went into a YMCA situation, and there we started the North County Swim Club.
And when I started there, we were at Berkeley High School, at small pool, 6 lanes, 25 yards. 84-degree water. It's basically a dungeon, and I remember we had to open the door up in the winter just to get a nice little blast of cold air. You know, it was a good day if it was 5 per lane.
Right.
And, you know, as a coach, how do you plan workouts? How do you plan everything around such a limited availability in terms of water?
At that time, we had, like you said, about 4 to 5 per lane. The water was warm. But we had a lot of enthusiasm. I had a swimmer contact me a few years ago and asked me how, you know, to get swimmers motivated for swimming. I think at that time we were trying to prove ourselves, and it really didn't matter what the temperature of the water was or what the environment was like. Everyone was there to improve, and when we go to swim meet, you know, really try to do well based off of what we did and whatever practice we had.
Yeah, because, you know, we were basically like, we had a third of the membership that some of these other big teams like Parkway and Clayton Shaw and Sugar Creek had. You know, when you're planning workouts and you know that there's going to be such a, you know, large amount of kids in each lane and the whole pool, I mean, what goes through your mind about how to get the most out of what they can do?
That's a really good question. I'm having to do that this year. My approach, if we're looking at 6 to 8 per lane or even 8 swimmers per lane, which is what I'm going to end up doing this year, is we're going to start out this year with some drilling and so forth. But we're going to try to keep the swimmers moving with shorter intervals. You know, instead of doing intervals and they're standing around, we need to keep moving. You know, we need to be at a certain point where we're quality, you know, 75% of the time, 80% of the time, and then that other 20% we're doing drills, making sure we're efficient in the pool, and try to do the best we can based off of that.
Yeah, that was something I remember. Always kept moving. Those intervals were a little too short for sprinters like me.
Yeah, in those days, Jeff, you had, you know, you had a lot of friends on the team that helped make it interesting and fun all the time, too.
Absolutely.
So.
It was 4 great years there. And now you're in Iowa, and you kind of have a similar situation, but a little bit better. I mean, you got more pools, but they're all filled to the brim, and you even got a waiting list, right?
Right. This is the Olympic year, and we actually started planning for this back in January and February of what we're going to do with all of the swimmers that we have coming in. Right now, we're right at around 250 swimmers in the pool, in the 6-lane pool with a separate diving tech, and that's where we put our stroke development kids. We also work out of a college pool, and it's just a 6-lane pool. So we're looking at anywhere between 7 to maybe 10 kids a lane, depending on the practice.
That's absolutely a lot. Now, you were also a swimmer, too. I mean,
yes.
looking back on your swimmer days and you know, the coaches you had, I mean, is it always this kind of thing like, you know, you look back and it's like,
God, I was rotten as a swimmer, or that coach was right, or what he was telling me and I didn't think was true. It kind of hits you now as a coach.
That's a really good question. Back in the 70s when I swam, we really didn't ask questions about what we did. Coach just said, go out and do it, and we did it. And I swam for the old Sugar Creek Swim Club back then, and I can remember doing some crazy workouts or running down the main street, and we never asked, why. Coach said, just go and do it. What I learned back then was just the hard work. My coach back then, who I learned from, was Jim Tynan. At the end of his career in St. Louis, he told us, and I tried to teach you guys this, is that training is like being in a war and you're in a foxhole, and you learn to trust each other. You train hard, you experience training together, and you take that and you put that in with your race. And that's really, I kind of carried that throughout my coaching career of hard work, always being in practice, not giving up, being goal-oriented, etc.
Well, I understand it now.
Yeah.
Like every swimmer, we look back, it's like, yeah, we understand now. We just were complaining and playing, Coach, we don't want to do this, but yeah.
Right, exactly.
Well, Paul, it's great to catch up with you. Great success on your team. It's a great problem to have, I'm sure, to have people, more people than you have room for.
Well, Jeff, it was an honor for me, and I'm so proud of your career and where you started at and where you're at now, and you keep opening the doors for other people, and I really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure, Paul, and thanks for joining us again. So this is me with Paul Murphy, one of my wonderful coaches who's helped me through my career, and we're here at the ASCA Clinic, and be sure to check Swimming World TV for more videos from Las Vegas.
Thanks to Paul for the interview. If you have a similar pool space situation, feel free to tell us about it in the comments section of the article about this show, or post a photo of your pool on our Facebook page or Twitter page. Our Twitter handle is @SwimmingWorld. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks for watching.